So what does a farmer do in the winter? My name's Luke Sheldrick, I own Terramore Farm, and I'm showing week to week how we run a profitable organic vegetable and flower farm. This is week 2 of a weekly series I'm doing for our season. You'd think there's not a lot going on in the winter, but there actually is quite a lot. And I'm gonna run you through everything. So crop plan, mapped it out now, and now I just have to sort of compile the seed order. So that was done this week. It's gonna trickle into next week a little bit. I also attempted to make a crop planning video for everyone, but there's a few on YouTube. It's very difficult to make a good crop planning video, so I wanted to just share a couple of resources and go up to the office and show a couple of options for crop planning, and I'll touch on that. We're also busy just sort of planning for the end of February and the beginning of March. Like soon the crew is gonna be coming, so I really need to be conscious of like what the workload is for each week throughout March so that I can give people warning of when I'm gonna need staff to be showing up. And then quite a few will be on full time in April. So we're actually just kind of doing a foresight of the workload. We're also doing our cash flow and budgeting and planning, and we're also planting. So I'll run you into the basement, show you the grow room that we planted into last week. You can check out that video, or also the video on ordering seeds. One guide I suggest, this is phenomenal. It's from Dan Buisbaugh, offered by the Canadian Organic Growers. It's directly on their website. Don't buy it off of Amazon because it's overpriced on there. And this is old school, breaks it down into the sales avenues. You work backwards from there, and it's really helpful for even a home gardener. It's more aimed at commercial, but it will help you as a home gardener as well. You're gonna need to maybe use like another resource like Johnny's Seeds has amazing planting guides, because they can tell you sort of like days in the cell for each vegetable. So that means how long from the day you plant it to the day you transplant it. So you can work backwards from the day that you want it to be in your garden, and work backwards with that number of days in the cell to find out what day you're gonna plant it in your house or in your nursery, the day you're actually gonna plant the seed. So, as I say, a lot of effort, and if it sounds confusing, it is confusing, and be easy on yourself as you try to work through it, because there's many little snags that you work through, but as you gain that knowledge of sort of plant spacing, seeds, days to maturity, days in the cell, you're gonna learn as you work through this and gain that knowledge, so it'll come as second nature that you're gonna know all this information about these vegetables, and that's gonna benefit you in the years to come. So do the work, take it in stride, and you can do it well. And then also there's another amazing resource. Of course, the Market Gardener Masterclass is phenomenal. There's a crop planning tool, but that's more for commercial growers. And if you're not quite on commercial, but you wanna try something out, they actually are releasing the same company, like the same Jean-Martin Fortier, the Market Gardeners, they have a new program called Heirloom, and I think it's gonna be phenomenal. I'm just dipping my toes right now. I'm actually done my crop plan, and I'm probably gonna do a video on it, because what I'm gonna do is take my crop plan and put it in there and see how it works, because it's really cool. You can do your seed order. I think it recommends your seed order, even your task calendar related to your planting. So you can say, if I'm planting carrots, I'm gonna need to weed those 2 weeks after. So it's gonna give you a task calendar as well as you associate the tasks with the crops. So a lot of really cool features. I'm looking forward to checking that out as well. First thing we'll do is go check out the seeds we planted last week. I have to water them. Perfect conditions in here. This room is just under 30 degrees. 40 humidity isn't ideal. Actually, we want more like 60. But I have 2 humidifiers, so I'll just turn on this one on high. This one was on low. That's fine, I'll leave that one on low. C'est bon. So see, I went over this last week, but I can show you too. This is our grow room. So a little bit of vapor barrier. Then we have a space heater and the humidifiers, and that makes this, it's a sealed room, so it makes this ideal environment for starting seeds, but also it's gonna act as our healing chamber when we graft our tomatoes. These are all tomatoes for grafting. We bottom water so that we don't damage them, and when they get a little more sturdy, I can start to water the tops. So yeah, you can water these 2 ways. It's okay, like you just go light, like that, and kind of soak the tops. Getting beat up a little bit is okay because they are resilient, but you don't want to like spray them hard where they get knocked over and they're laying down. That's terrible. So I just want to show both, because people probably, not everyone's going to want to bottom water. There, I just knocked some over. They'll probably stand back up, but it's not ideal. And while I'm here, these lights are the T5 sun blasters, and the rack is from Costco. It's pretty affordable. The lights are on a timer, so we don't risk misting, turning them on or off or anything like that. But yeah, I like to just bottom water. So that's where we have the tray underneath. And I just fill it like this. I just count to 10. So to share the workload, we alternate, like, well, no, not necessarily alternate. I have more days off from the baby than Dana, but Dana has today off from the baby. You can hear her now. I have the monitor. I'm trying to sneak outside while she's supposed to be napping to the greenhouse to get some stuff for Dana, who is planting in the basement. She's planting eucalyptus, some snapdragons, lisianthus. I think that's it for today. All stuff that's going to be going into a cat tunnel. Actually, eucalyptus isn't. We're just going, that's just something that grows really long. But the other stuff we're going to have in cat tunnels for hopefully an early bouquet, mixed bouquet. Lisianthus, not so much either. It'll be ready by the end of the year, but again, that's just like eucalyptus, just takes a really long time to grow. So Dana needs some trays. She needs the vermiculite because she's planting, oh yeah, that's the other thing, poppies. So some things that are flowers, very different from vegetables. We learned so many different things for the way they like to be planted. So some need light to germinate. So the instructions on the seed packet say like don't put soil on top, but that's uncomfortable for us. So we just sprinkle vermiculite. I like to have something on top. So that's the stuff I'm doing right now. Bringing in some 72s for her, grabbing the vermiculite, and hopefully quickly taking these covers off because it's hot this week. I mentioned I don't like taking them on and off, but I don't mind leaving them off when it's all warm nights. I really don't like having to worry about whether the voles are eating it, so anytime I see that, I just tell myself that we're giving back to nature. It's a bummer, but if you just tell yourself that, you don't have to stress so much, and it doesn't drive you totally crazy, because we get a lot from Mother Nature. Like, we're getting a ton of produce. So if some voles have to eat some stuff, or some slugs have to eat some stuff, it's much better than driving yourself totally nuts trying to prevent them from doing it. Vermiculite. Looks like that. It's also great for stuff that like tends to damp off, so we always put it over our beets because like we see a lot of damping off with the beets. So any crop like that, we actually put vermiculite instead of dirt over top. Show you our plastics room. Like I said, never enough storage. This is like a little dingy area. We have our birds in here, but also some tools over in that area. And then this is the plastics room. So I really need 128s. I got a whole box of new ones. Someone planned ahead. There's something just so amazing about like the first sun. Like when you're just in that greenhouse and it's 20 degrees in there, or maybe more. And I say this time of year, I'm always like, oh man, I'm not excited for the spring to come. It means it's back to work. But then you're standing in there, or you're running to the shed to get trays, and you're like, oh man, here it comes. And it's like, farming's just wild. It's gonna be awesome, but also you know that there's gonna be plenty of ups and downs like every season, and there's something just so amazing about it. So this is it, week 2, and we're heading right into it. Dana's getting her planting done. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and go ahead and ask any questions or comments, like if you have anything to say that you're interested in learning about, because while I'm sort of walking around meandering, I'm happy to answer any questions about what we're up to, how we made a living, how we bought the farm. I'm gonna touch on all that as much as I can, but please, yeah, I wanna keep sharing our story, and I think this is gonna be a really fun experiment this year, giving everybody an inside look of our farm and how we operate and how we got to where we are. Spread the message by liking, subscribing, sharing, but also ask any questions. Thank you.